Welcome to Two Luckies,
the podcast,
and our series Dyin,
Cryin,
and
Lyin.
This is a series of us talking about Little House on the Prairie and our take on it as adults.
It is very different as an adult.
Very different. And if you sum this all up, they can fall into one of three categories, either Dyin,
They're crying,
or they're
lying.
So sit back, relax, come take an adventure with us as we reminisce on Little House the Prairie, Dyin,
Cryin,
and
Lyin.
Lyin.
Season 1, the award.
Ooh, sounds like a goodie. We're not even 2 seconds in, literally 2 seconds, and we got a Lyin.
Because they come in with the strings, the idyllic scene, the little house, and then Laura comes in and says,
Pa doesn't go away very often. We know that's crap.
He
He's
goes
gone
away
like
for
every
months.
episode.
He's constantly gone. Like, when is he home? What are we, 30 seconds back and we have another Lyin? Because Pa told Laura that it takes a lot of people pushing for him to leave home. He leaves home at the drop of a hat. The wind blows a little bit from the south and he's gone. And they're acting like he's always home. He's at the mill. He's over at Mankato. He's over here. He's over there. He's hardly ever home. Like, I'm seriously.
We have the Carrie report.
Pa and Mr. Edwards are taking the dream team of horses up the road so they can go do some errands and go around to different towns. Mankato was mentioned and Mr. Hanson was mentioned. And then they show the girls all standing there with Ma, and Carrie has a line. Yay, Carrie! Carrie's got a line, and now they're running inside because they have to start their day because Pa's going to be gone with Mr. Edwards for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Laura's trying to dawdle on the way to school, poking around with a stick, saying she's looking for something. She has no idea what it is. She'll know when she finds it. Mary says she doesn't make sense. Laura says it doesn't make sense that Mary power walks to school because, Mary like trucks. She doesn't just walk anywhere. She is like, her arms are pistoning. She is always on a mission to get wherever she's going, whether it's going to school or going home. She is power walking everywhere, and Laura just wants to dawdle, and she says, you don't make any sense because you like to go to school. So now Miss Beadle is writing on the blackboard, and it looks like everybody's already seated, so they must have already gotten there because it looks like Laura and Mary are in the front. In the front row already. So with classes in session, let's see what they got. Ma's tendency for being late in school. Mom shows up again because we were incorrect. Those heads in that seating arrangement. Now there's a kid that wasn't in there when we first got into there that's sitting in front of them. But Mary and Laura are late, just like Ma was late to her teaching job when she was teaching the school in School Mom. And we're seeing that Miss Beadle is unveiling a scholarship award.
Apple didn't fall far from the tree, did it?
I mean, we're finding out they're turning out just like parents here.
So we find out that the award is a rather large Webster's Dictionary, courtesy of the school board. And Mary's got the look of somebody who has got the blingiest bling eyes you would ever did. Bling.
She stared at it like without blinking for at least 3 minutes straight, it felt like. I mean, her eyes must have been dry from just staring at this book, but she wants this award that even Laura, who was looking forward, looks towards her like, oh my gosh, she felt it like like next to her, like the energy of like, I am getting this book.
We're back at the Ingalls farm. Mary's sitting around the table with Ma and hands her a list. This award is for a comprehensive exam that they'll be taking in a variety of subjects.
A long list, Ma said.
Yep, and Mary says, I got 3 weeks to study, and right away Ma's trying to dash her hopes. Mary, a lot of the students are older than you are. And she retorts with, well, Pa says you could do anything if you set your mind to it.
Anything if you set your mind to it, yep.
So Undeterred. Yeah, I'm going to go upstairs and study. But she did say, yeah, she wants to be a teacher, just like she
Ma.
was. And she's going to need a dictionary. So she's got her mind set on this. And then you got Laura, who then sits down at the table and has to do a punish assignment
Yes,
for misspelling words.
She has to write all the words she misspelled 25 times.
And then Ma's got to be, such a bright person. Tell her,
Actually, that's a little Lyin, because when Ma asked her how many did you miss, she said a few. This list was like, she looked like she was getting ready to go on the other side.
Like everyone.
I mean, she had a considerable amount of words written in 3 columns on this
But
paper.
here's Ma's wisdom. If Mary wins that dictionary, pretty soon you won't have to ask me how to spell anything. To which Laura says,
how do I look something up if I don't know how to spell it?
Yeah, Ma.
So, I mean, she kind of, it's funny because they did give us dictionaries and they're like, just look it up. Like, how do you look it up when you don't know what you're looking for? But we're going into the school and we'll find out what's happening. Mary's missing a topic of study that's the required part of what this test is about.
History.
She's asking Miss Beadle for some kind of resource because we realized they don't have a library. She can't just go down to the library and go check out a book. So she has to go and find out if somebody has the information, which the teacher, if she's putting it on the test, probably does. So she used her resources and she went and talked to her and she got this looks like very costly book that has the history before the Revolutionary War.
So my question to this is, and when they first went to school, Ma gave all her school books to them. Her school books didn't cover any of those topics?
Right, we were just talking about that. Like, wait a minute. Why would before the Revolutionary War not be in Ma's books?
Questionable.
Yeah, something's weird.
I have to call out our next Lyin. Laura just looked at Mary and said, Mary, would you hurry up? We have chores to do. That's a lie. You don't give a crap about chores.
She
Not
never
now.
wants to do
Not
chores.
ever.
No. And Mary is dawdling with this book. Find out she's reading the history book. And Laura is saying, what are you reading? Mary says, it's history. And Laura says, well, I don't like it because it's all about Dyin, because it's all about dead people. So they had to sneak it in there just a little bit. Carrie has lines.
Yay, Carrie.
Where is she, though? In the high chair. And Ma is ironing, and she just seems to be thinking that she can iron with this piece of metal forever without ever warming it up because they didn't have electricity back then. But she's doing that, and they're going through the alphabet. And so she had quite a few lines, all these letters. And then Mary and Laura come in. Mary shows this book. Ma's like, "Oh my gosh, she gave it to you?" No, she let me use it.
Just let me use it.
Yes, and then now Laura trying to get out of she's trying to go fishing because she would rather go fishing than she wants to do anything because she doesn't have any homework. Right. And then they all kind of separate, but it was just kind of a little something to keep us going. And this is the second time that Mary is told and somewhat agrees to take good care of this book.
Take good care of it.
Good care. Once again, they blur the lines between who's the older sister and who's the younger sister because Laura is over there in bed scolding Mary, who somehow has a lantern on upstairs. Right. There are no walls in this place.
No walls.
None. So Ma must be real tired because Ma is not aware of the fact that there was a gas flame lantern on, which we already know from other episodes. They are not allowed to light matches. So this must be either she left it on and Ma went to sleep. Something weird is happening. Laura says, turn off, blow out that light, whatever you do back then to stop a flame because George Washington became the father of our country and blow that out before you wake up Ma because she's got all this extra work to do. And then Mary blows out the lamp and she gets into bed. But it was just kind of a weird thing all around because I think this level of light, when it's that dark outside, they didn't have street lights. Like when it's dark in the house, it's dark.
Right.
Having a lantern would have lit the whole place up. They're upstairs.
We were just entertained with a whole big bonanza of activity.
Oh,
Let's break this down. Mary, who earlier had gone to sleep, actually didn't go to sleep. She gets back up and says, Laura, It's pitch black, so what does she do? She picks up Miss Beadle's book and she takes a lantern, goes down the ladder and goes out to the barn where she's lighting matches so she can sit down in the barn laying on all this hay
Right,
to
she's
study
on
this
the
book.
hay. She has the lantern on a stool, and she's sitting in the driest hay in creation because
she just doesn't make any sense, right? She's laying there, so what do you think happens? She falls asleep. Her feet are underneath the stool that this lantern's on. She rolls over, knocks over the lantern, and now we have a fire.
oh my gosh, and it
What a
spreads like,
fire.
I mean, my goodness, that the horse for some reason is tied up in its stall on a very short rope, I might add.
Yes, very
and
short.
now the horse is very upset, and then Ma has to, because now she tries, Mary realizes that she started this fire. She tries to do something about it.
And
she
just ends up
rolls the lantern
spreading
and
it.
just spreads it all over the place. Then she runs inside to get Ma. So tired Ma, who has to do all this other stuff because her husband's away, comes running outside barefoot in her nightgown and has to fight a fire after she gets the horse that's tied on the short rope and the cow out of the barn. And then she turns around and she yells at Mary. I mean, I don't think you ever see her yell like this again.
No, she was furious, and that brought us our first
Cryin, because now Mary, who I think this is a slight Lyin, because Mary knew, she reminded us when Ma was screaming, that they are not allowed to use matches or light lanterns anywhere near the barn. Really, we were told in other episodes they're not allowed to light matches at all. So here we go. She's doing something. She said, well, you're going to remember now because she's not allowed to take this test. And they got to tell Miss Beadle on Monday because it's Friday. Laura sits there and tells us tomorrow's Saturday.
Yep,
Yes.
she really stepped in it.
Oh, boy.
Mary is probably one of the most clueless people, a lot like Ma. And how do I even begin to explain this? We're in the house. It must be Saturday morning.
Yes, the
Mary
next day.
comes in. She's got eggs to hand over to Ma, thanks her, and then Ma asks her to please sit down. And, of course, she does. And Ma is apologizing more or less for the way she acted
Because
last
she
night
was afraid.
she was afraid and all of these things. Now, if Mary had any kind of intuition or even stopped staring at her feet and actually looked at Ma, we were kind of getting the impression that she was probably going to ease up on that harsh punishment she gave her about not taking the test. But what does Mary do? Right in the middle of her taking a breath. Can I please go?
Right, can I go? She didn't let her finish. I mean, she was trying to, I think she was trying to say I was too harsh, and now Mary's almost making her like kind of hold on to this punishment that she, I think, kind of realized that maybe she went a little over, maybe she feels that she went overboard with it. In all the excitement of this fire, Mary forgot about this precious book that she was supposed to be taking care of, which she had already been told twice, you're going to take care of it, and she said she would. Now she finds it all charred because the way she got away from Ma was by saying, I'm going to rake up all the straw and all the burned sackcloth and everything that was in there, and I'm going to take that out of there. And while she's raking, she uncovers the book, all charred, and it's a wreck now. Ma's over here in the church outsourcing her decisions because apparently without Pa, she's unable to make a decision on her own. She's got to go talk to Reverend Alden to find out whether or not she's going to keep this punishment going, because Mary was very upset that this whole thing happened. It was upsetting to be in a fire, all this other stuff, but instead of making her own decision, she's got to go over there and ask Reverend Alden and let him decide, you got to keep this, you made a promise to this punishment and you got to keep it.
Yeah, this is what I find interesting. Let's ask a guy who has no family, has no spouse, how to deal with children.
Yes, there's that. And behind him is the ugliest decorated pulpit thing. Every time I see it, I think of it. It looks like they put on the paint or whatever, and then they took like a paper towel and made wiggly lines in it to try to make it look like wood grain, but it looks like anything but.
Yeah, so we learned that she was actually going to drop that punishment, but thanks to good old Reverend Alden,
We're going to keep with it.
You just keep whipping her.
Squeeze it. Laura and Mary are walking to school, and Mary is dragging her feet uncharacteristically so. She's always power walking now. I mean, she is just moseying.
The power is gone.
It's gone. All her pep went out of her step. And Laura's trying to cheer her up, which is kind of cute because she remembered way back when they needed to go. They only got 1 penny a year for Christmas, and they had to use Mary's penny to buy the slate pencil so they could write on their slates. And Laura said, "You could have half my penny." So now she said, "Let's go buy some licorice because that'll cheer you up." So she's trying to cheer her up.
We get into the mercantile where they go up and Laura asks Mr. Olson for the licorice. And Mary standing there is staring behind the counter and sees a sign that says help wanted.
Help wanted. So now they want us to believe, these script writers, that Nellie Olson helped out in the afternoons and on the weekend, and now she can't help out. The reason the position is open is because she can't help out after school and on the weekends because she's studying for this test, right?
Right. I could believe that if it was up to Nels, because Nels never let her get away with squat. It was always Mrs. Olson.
I know, but I don't feel like Nellie ever helped them with anything. I mean, like, we know what happened later.
It's questionable.
It's questionable.
So anyway, she asks about this help wanted, and he says, well, it would be after school every day and all day Saturdays.
Right. And it's 50 cents a week, and the history book that burned in the fire is $1. So she would be, what was it? Did he say 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
I think it was 2 weeks.
Okay, so 2 weeks, and then she was going to be able to, so she hatched a plan. She's going to buy the book, which is Planned Future Lyin, because Miss Beadle is getting a different book either way. We may have implied Lyin, because Mary's over there staring at that dictionary. Miss Beadle comes in and asks her, how are you doing with the studying, right?
And she says, I was just admiring the book.
I was just admiring the book, and then, do you want to stay or do you want to ask a question? What did she say to her?
She says, no, I'm going to go outside.
She went to go fess up, I think, Mary. And then she said, nah, just go outside. So she's stuck with her plan that she's going to buy the book back and give a different book, and Miss Beadle somehow isn't going to know that her inscription or whatever, because they used to do that back then, isn't in there, but I guess she'll figure that out later.
Laura just called Mary out on her
Lyin, because she said you didn't tell Miss Beadle.
Right, you were supposed to tell Miss Beadle that you're not allowed to take that test. Well, I know, but you can't tell her because then you'd have to give her book back, and you don't have it because it burned up in the fire.
Yes. So, and then Laura tries to find out if there's planned future Lyin, because she's like, well, what if Ma asks me? What am I going to do? And then she's like, Mary goes, well, maybe she won't ask.
Maybe she won't ask. And Pa always says,
don't cross your bridges until you get to them. So she's waiting for her bridges. And we're getting back to the little house. We see a yellow bonnet in the corner and this black horse that who knows who, they really haven't introduced us to this horse yet. But we're getting ready to go home with that pit in your stomach of what if Ma asks?
So Ma, without any kind of questioning, without any kind of thought, just says, sure.
She knows nothing about the schedule, what the days and times, how much she's making. Is this a permanent job? Is this just a temporary situation? She says, sure, as long as you can keep up with everything and your chores and your marks.
And we're talking about Mary taking the job at the mercantile.
Yes, and Laura had run in and run out so fast to go do her chores that Ma didn't have a chance to ask her anything. She made sure there was no chance that Ma could speak to her more than just a how do you do. And Carrie was out of the high chair outside greeting the girls outside with Jack.
Carrie.
Yay! Mary is hustling and bustling around this store. She's got a customer that just makes a mess out of this bolt of fabric in the front. Nellie comes in, they're swiping at each other about, back and forth because Nellie says, oh, you're supposed to dress better when you come to work. Maybe you should wear your Sunday dress. Mary's saying, well, I don't worship in Olson's mercantile. Miss Beadle comes in, asks for a pound of flour, and Mary shakes out this paper bag that looks very modern, and she is supposed to be measuring out a pound of flour, and she's going back for her third very large scoop. We find out that all the books they need for the test are stored at the store, but we already know that this community is not really able to afford books like this. They need food over books at this point. And
did you happen to see the way Mary was staring at those books when she heard they were all over there in the corner?
She
had
like this
the
look.
blingy look on her.
Yeah, she's like mesmerized by the bling.
Finally, we have our next
Lyin. Because Mary's over here with this look on her face like, I got away with it, when Ma had told her she's supposed to tell Miss Beadle that she's not taking this test.
Well, Miss Beadle finally comes in and asks her point blank, what about the examination?
Right, because this is a lot. She said, you've taken on a lot by taking on this job. How are you studying? And she says, well, I have a lot of downtime in the store. So she leads Miss Beadle to believe that she took this job so that she would have access to the books, which Nellie is over, have access to read the books when there's downtime. And Nellie is over there pretending to study, which is another kind of Lyin, because she's pretending to study. She's not even looking at the book. She's just got her hands in it, and she's listening to this whole conversation. So she knows that Mary has told a fib.
Yes, she does. And that also implies that Nellie's doing a little bit of prying.
She's prying.
Mary really seems to have a little bit of devil in her, huh?
Oh, a devil, why?
she's caught in this big web of lies, and now we see that she's gone over and she's supposed to be working, but what is she doing?
She is reading a book that suspiciously looks like the same one that Miss Beadle gave her earlier, before it was supposedly burned, and she takes this supposedly brand new book off the shelf and starts reading it because she sees Nellie had heard that she was supposed to be studying on the downtime, but meanwhile, Mr. Olson is paying her to work. So she's actually like stealing time on the job here so that she can read this book and study for a test that Ma has told her you cannot do because she outsourced her decisions to the Reverend, because the Reverend said basically spare the rod and spoil the child. So, because Ma would have let her out of this and let her take the examination.
Right.
So we end up with this big swirly thing that now Mary is in the middle of.
Mr. Olson comes in with the
Because
Oh.
Mary was so busy with her nose in that book that when Mr. Olson went to go close up, Mary should have been done already. He found her over there reading. She had gotten so engrossed in what she was doing that he had to bring her home with his wagon and his team of horses, and Ma comes out and she is upset. Dinner is on the table and she was worried. We failed to mention earlier that Reverend Alden had given Chaz his love because he had run into them on the way into town while the two of them, him and Mr. Edwards, were sleeping on the side of the road on the way to wherever they were delivering. And now Nels also gives Charles his regards because somehow he had heard word, but everybody else is hearing word from her husband except for her, but they're letting her know about it.
Yeah, and because of this, we really don't know. Maybe he went all that way to Mankato to get a new shirt.
Maybe he did, or at least fitted for one.
We're picking up steam now. We have our next Lyin. And once again, it's Laura that calls Mary out on it. Because what happened?
Because Mary is over here in the window now by the light of the moon doing her homework. And Laura says, but I thought you said you already did your homework at the Mercantile. So that means that she told Ma and Laura and Carrie and Jack the dog Lyin. Because she said she did it, and wow, we're watching her do it in the middle of the night. Mary is stuck between a rock and a hard place because now Ma has that proclamation out there that she outsourced to Reverend Alden that decided that they were going to keep this punishment where she can't take this examination. And now she fesses up to Laura, who's laying in bed trying to sleep while she's over there doing her homework, Mary, in the by the light of the moon. And she says, I can't disappoint Miss Beadle, so now she feels that maybe if I take the test without Ma knowing, which is a planned future, Lyin. Well, maybe if I take this test, Ma will be so proud she'll forget to be mad at me. And now Laura's like, I don't know about this plan. What are you? She's concocting plans all over the place. But now she's stuck between disappointing Ma or Miss Beadle, and it looks like she's picking Miss Beadle, and we don't know what's going on.
It's a web of lies.
She wants to make Miss Beadle proud of her. She wants Ma to, she figures Ma will be proud if Miss Beadle's proud, and maybe I'll get away with it that way. And Laura makes a very good point, because Mary's whole idea is based on the fact that she feels that she's going to win because Miss Beadle said you really have a good chance.
You have a good chance.
And Laura says, but what if you don't get the award? Only one person gets this award, the highest score. So if she gets even 1 point behind them, she's not going to win this.
Right.
So she said, well, I'll just have to win. So now let me heap on the impossible on top of this. We're going for it. The time clock theft continues. She's studying. They don't even show her where she's in the store. And she's got the notepad out now. She's sitting in the corner over there with the books. And she is flat out studying. She's not even pretending to do any work. She's bustling around with her chores. She's hauling the water. She's going round the clock. She's reading while she's walking. And now her hand is out for the money that she really didn't kind of earn here, because she is just doing it. She's going to do it, pulling out all the stops.
But I got to call out Ma on this. When Mr. Olson brought her home and said that he didn't even realize she was still there until he found her reading in the corner, what did she think she was up to?
Yeah, what? Yeah, you know what?
She should have had a clue that, or at least asked her, you did tell Miss Beadle that you're not taking that test, right?
Yeah, she hasn't actually confirmed anything, which is why the story continued. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's been busy, though.
Mary's in the mercantile to finally collect her pay, and we find out that she actually worked for 3 weeks, to which she was paid $1.50.
Yeah, she got $1.50 from Mr. Olson, and he gets a quick turnaround on his investment because he gets $1 of it back almost immediately as she turns around to the books, pulls off that one that she had to give back to Miss Beadle, and she says, I want to buy this one, and gives him $1 back.
So she's already perpetuating the future.
Well, Lyin, because her plan is full steam ahead. She's got this going. It looks like Mary has picked Miss Beadle of who she wants to impress after Laura's like, come on, let's go home. She says, no, I want to talk to Miss Beadle, which I really do think Laura thinks, whoa, she's doing what Ma said, because that's what she had told her.
She's going to fess up.
That she was going to fess up, and then she was going to be returning the book. So she returns the book back to Miss Beadle. They go through this whole discussion of how, Miss Beadle now thinks that it's just pre-test jitters because the test is tomorrow.
But wait a minute. We got to first call her back with that book. That was Lyin, because Mary looked at her and said, here's the book I borrowed.
Yes, which we know it's not, because she just bought it from the mercantile that morning or the day before or whatever it was. So we know that the book that she got from Miss Beadle was burned up in the fire and it's someplace in the Ingalls house. So now she's walking out, and Miss Beadle says, why don't we just forget about the test until tomorrow? Which Mary says, oh, I'm off the hook for the night. I'm going to forget about this twiddly-dee, and I'm going to forget about the whole thing, and I'm going to go out here and pretend like everything is fine, when we know she's been weaving a whole heaping of Lyin. Thank you, Mary. You got us going.
They brought us our very next Lyin. Ma comes into the house and finds must have been a 50-cent piece sitting on the table. Because 50 cents, and here comes Mary behind her. Mary?
That's the money I earned. I thought Dad could use it to fix the barn.
50 cents for 3 weeks, and what did Mary say?
Well, I didn't have much to do or something like that.
Lyin, you didn't say
Lyin.
that you got paid $1.50.
Yeah, she got paid $1.50 and spent $1 already.
Ma, in her glory, goes marching into the mercantile with her eggs.
She's bristling.
And I'll tell you, instead of asking questions or inquiring, just flat out snotty.
Yeah, she was very curt and terse with Mr. Olson, and he's being chipper and cheerful because he had a really good experience with Mary, even though he admits he knew that she read every book in the store of the Thompson series.
So he threw her under the bus for that.
But he knew she was thieving his time and still was happy to have her around, so she did more than Nellie was doing after school, that's for sure.
So Ma's discovering all these little webs of lies that have been.
Yes, because she finds out that she got $1.50 and that she bought a history book, and she acts surprised when she knew that the book burned up in the fire, didn't she?
Right.
How did she not know?
What'd she think she was going to do?
Oh, hold on a second. When she was raking up the... Did she ever tell Ma that she ruined the book? Maybe
she did. Oh,
is that another lion?
That's
we
a hidden
found another lion because
lion.
we're finding out that Mary didn't tell Ma. This makes more sense.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that when she found that book, when she was raking up all the straw, that she told Ma, I ruined Miss Beadle's book. But this has been an unknown. She has been keeping this a secret from Ma the whole time. Figures if I replace it because I earned the money, no harm, no foul. And now Ma's finding out that she worked for 3 weeks, but she was probably counting on that money because she's over here buying vanilla beans. And she's, and she only got 50 cents for 3 weeks because she bought a $1 book that she just gave back to Miss Beadle. Ha! Laura is wringing her hands in worry as she leaves because Miss Beadle said, anybody who is not taking the test, please go play quietly outside, stay nearby, because after the test is over, I'm giving you a long recess, and then after you come back, you're going to have a lot of work to do, but be out there and be quiet. And Laura looks at Mary and says, aren't you coming, Mary? And Mary is sitting there, so now Laura knows that just by sitting there, Mary is lying, because Ma said she couldn't take this test, and now she's sitting here and Miss Beadle is handing out the papers.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Okay, so Ma is in town, right? She was just talking to Mr. Olson. She was all grouchy with him, right? And she comes outside to the school children that are playing, and they're trying to be quiet, right? She finds Laura sitting on the steps, but you brought it up.
Yeah.
Where is Carrie?
Where's Carrie?
Pa's
Carrie's
out
not
of
with her.
town. Did she leave her with somebody? Like
Maybe she's still in the high chair.
She's still in the high chair. So she's in town with her eggs, selling them, right? Without Carrie. And she goes in. Laura says she's in there taking the test. Laura's always playing outside.
No,
with the
she
other
didn't
kid.
say she was taking the test. She just said she's inside.
She
So
said she's
she walks
inside.
in and looks and sees her sitting up there, and she sees her writing.
Right, Mary really does look like she's taking the test. Ma squares her shoulders, turns around, and she runs down the stairs and ignores Laura completely. Tinker's bell is ringing up there on the rafters. The kids are coming up holding a very wiggly banister. And then they go inside and we find out that they're announcing who the winner is. Miss Beadle says she's proud of everybody, and we get our crying because Mary is over there bawling her eyes out, and now Laura is told to wait after school.
We're on the final scene now, and we see Miss Beadle coming down in her buckboard bringing Laura home, and Laura only, because we forgot to mention before that Mary, with her crying in the school, had just got up and ran out of there.
She cried all the way out the door.
So Miss Beadle comes down the hill and stops to give Ma Mary's test paper and explains, most mothers wouldn't want to see this, but I think in this situation you do. And it was a note explaining everything, that she wasn't taking the test and why she wasn't taking the test.
And she fessed up finally.
She fessed up.
Yes, and Ma remembered Carrie when she asked Laura to watch Carrie and take the water bucket in and take the test paper in, because she had to find Mary, because Mary just ran off from school and did not come home.
And I still have to ask, where was Carrie when she was in town?
I know, but
probably sitting on that log.
Ma comes down the hill and Mary is crying, and she tells her all the truth, and they hug, and the strings are swelling, and everything's going great, because now that she fessed up, all is right with the world. But they had a whole heap of mess of Lyin. they had Cryin, and they had mention of people who were dead because they had been dying, and they gave it to us again. Thank you, script writers, because even when Pa's away, you guys know how to press the buttons of Dyin, Cryin, and Lyin.
They definitely brought it.
They did.
Be sure to join us for our next episode, which is entitled Christmas at Plum Creek. And that concludes this episode of Two Luckies,
the podcast.
And our series, Dyin,
Cryin,
and Lyin.
We release these in threes, so if you enjoyed it, there's more. Go check it out.
Go check them out. We'll see you next time.
We're out.
See ya.
Two Luckies, the podcast.
Two Luckies podcast.
Two Luckies,
The podcast.